Today on the car, on the 1965 Mustang, we're going to be working on the rear differential. I'm changing the gears in the rear because right now on highway speeds, it's revving about 2,200 RPM. So at say 50 miles an hour, it's kind of high, and it's the fuel consumption and just the loudness of the car inside it's a bit much. So today, well, last week, I went on my favorite used car website, Kijiji, and Facebook Marketplace, and I picked up a three, what is it? 355 gear. So this is what I picked up for 60 bucks. That's Canadian dollars. A 355. Oh, there you go. Right there, 355 gear. And there's the carrier. The plan is just to completely swap out the gear, the carrier, and the pinion, and reuse all the parts. And this crush washer is only meant to be used once, but we're gonna give it a second lease on life, I hope. So let's get started. So I already taken the cover off, and I'm draining the oil. So now I'm gonna take off the brakes, the calipers, the rotors from both sides, and then I'm going to come in and take this center pin out, and then I'll be able to slide the axles out. So that's the plan so far. Let's start off with the caliper. These are 10 mil bolts. Let's see here. Should come off like that. From here, you don't need to do anything else. Once we get into the differential, this axle will just slide out. Now we'll do the exact same thing on the other side, and then get into the differential. Remove this differential is this pin has to come out. So you can try to turn it here. The car is in neutral. I don't know if that matters or not, but what you're trying to do is reach the bolt, the center pin bolt right there. And this is I think it's a 5/16, but 8 mil or 5/16, whichever is tighter, because we really don't want to strip this bolt. You'll be in a world of hurt if you do. So let's try this. 5/16 seems to work pretty good. Ah, yeah. 5/16. Okay, that's loose. You want to turn it so you can reach it. So it's going to slide out right here. Now be careful. Sometimes they just fall right out. There you go. And voila. So that pin goes through that hole and it locks it in place. Okay, now with that pin removed, we have to push the axles towards the center of the car and there's a C-clip right there and right there. You'll see it in a second here. There. So now I was able to push that axle in. Now with the magnet, I'm gonna have to take that C-clip out. Oh, smaller magnet. A little trick you can do is with the screwdriver, a steel screwdriver that's not magnetized, you can magnetize it by rubbing your screwdriver shaft all up and down the magnet itself. And with that, it should be enough to pull the axle out. There. There you go. Oops. Dripping in oil, but that's what the C-clip looks like. Not much to it to hold that axle in, but that's what they do. Try to be careful. There's a seal right there, right here. So just when you pull it out, try not to ride along the seal. There you go. That's what a 31 spline axle looks like from a Ford Explorer. Now, exact same thing on the other side. Aha. Took a while, but something like this helped. So yeah, so that C-clip, I don't know if you can see there or not, but it sits right in that groove right in there. So that's all that holds this whole axle from sliding out. But that's how it's done. Probably should have done this with the axle still in the car, but with this, it shouldn't be a problem. Now before I take off the last one, I'm going to put a pan on the floor because when I take the drive shaft out, it might leak some oil from the tail shaft of the transmission. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll take that last one out, and I'll take the drive shaft off. There's the drive shaft. Oh. Okay, perfect. Didn't leak. Next, we're going to take this pinion bolt off, and this flange has to come off. And this is a 27 mil socket, but it's slightly big. But that's all I have, and we're going for it. There we go. get a puller and pull that off. Aha! Beautiful. So that's what that looks like. And just to let you know, the 7.5 differential, this spline's different. So ask me how I know. Okay, I think we're finally ready to take this carrier out. So there's 4 bolts here, like 1, 2, 3, 4. These bearing caps will come out, and then this whole thing should come out. It's also a good idea to mark which side goes where and which edge goes where. So I'm going to punch a hole right there, and I'm going to punch a hole right here to indicate that this side goes, that this edge goes to this side of the differential. Like this. Right there. Right in the center. Now I know that dot needs to match up with that dot. And here I'm going to put 2 and 2. There we go. Perfect. There you go. That's what that looks like. Okay. Now, when you pull this out, there'll be little shims on either side. Make sure you don't mix those things up, because what I plan on doing is putting those same shims back in the exact same spot, and hopefully it'll work. There we go. You see? That's the top part. It's not light. It's pretty heavy. I would say about 20 pounds or more. It just fell out, so it just slides right out. Careful. Again, there might be shims somewhere in there, so try not to lose those shims. Okay, there we go. The shims would be under this bearing, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, we're done for now. Okay, here we are. These are the gears that, this is the carrier and the pinion gear that we just took out. And here's the used set. But this used set, if you notice, it's an open gear style differential. So I'm going to take this ring gear off and put it over here on this one, and taking this ring gear off and put it on this one to keep the limited slip option. So let's get started. Also, almost every single video, like YouTube video about this, they're going to tell you to change the gears, the the bearings and the seals, but I'm going to try without it and see what happens. All right, here we go. Let's put this out of the way. This over here. Let's see. These are 19 mil also. Voila. That was a pretty tight fit, so I'm sure you're going to struggle with it. Just be careful with this ring gear, this tone, whatever you want to call this. But this is for your ABS. This is the sensor rides right along this, so you don't want to bend that or break it. And here's the ring gear. And if you ever get confused, say you have a bunch of these around, the ring gear is stamped right here, so you can always look at that. Okay, I'm already confused. I want the 355 gear. So it's not this one. It's got to be this one. Three, 5, 5. Okay, now need to line up the holes. This is just to hold it in place. I'm going to put some Loctite on it. What I've seen done, guys will put the ring gear in the oven, and then when it's really hot, like at 400 degrees, they'll come in and they'll slide it onto the carrier. I'm gonna try this, see if this works. But if it doesn't work, then we'll go with the heated method. Brake clean these bolts, take the grease off of them. this 373. We don't want that. We want this one. Looks good to me. Put this in the cart and carrier. Well, better clean this now that it's wide open. She's gonna want to just slide out, so I'm gonna put the flange on and just put the bolt. So I'm gonna put this on too, or else it just wants to slide out. Okay, now the main carrier. I really hope this works. I don't have any extra shims, so I'm putting the exact same shims back in on either side. Now there's a whole procedure on measuring the backlash, the pinion clearances, but I'm not going to get into that. And frankly, I'm just putting back exactly what came out of it, except for the pinion. But just by feel and by the amount of backlash that's in it now, I feel comfortable putting this all back together. We'll do some drives. Maybe we'll check the pattern here, but we're gonna go with that. We're gonna try that. So let's continue on. Because I don't have any proper marking paint for this test, I'm gonna try to use just regular old grease, some light grease. I just got marked a few teeth here. And let's see how that looks. So there's the grease. I'll put you guys down here. And we'll spin this around a few times. I'm just looking at the grease markings. I guess to me it looks like it's making okay engagement. I think it could be better. But I don't know. What do you guys think? If you can tell. But I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna send it just the way it is, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now I'm just gonna reassemble everything, put it back, top up the oil, torque everything to spec, and put it on the road. See you then. On 8.8 gear differentials, there is a 3/8 drive plug right here. Normally this would be full of crap, so just get in there with the screwdriver, clean it out. And this has been off recently, so it should come out pretty easily. But you might have a hard time taking this off. Maybe a little bit of heat and using a ratchet. There. I'm using a Lucas limited slip differential, limited slip oil. There's no additives needed for this oil. So I'm just going to fill it up until it drains out. The Ford 8.8 gear differential calls for 1.7 liters of oil and 0.2 of a liter of friction modifier. But we're using oil that doesn't need friction modifier. It's already in the oil. So I'm just using 1.9 liters of oil in the differential. There it is. Okay. Let's see if it spins. Pretty quiet. Well, I guess the true test will be on its first drive. It's been about a week now, and the car has about, I don't know, 50 miles on it. There's no issues with the rear end at all, so reusing the bearings wasn't an issue. So if you guys are on a budget and you want to just try reusing the bearings, go for it. I used the same oil seal. Just wanted to let you guys know an update on the car, and so far so good. Thanks for watching.